It's official. We now have a 12th official language. The National Assembly has signed off on a bill allowing for sign language to be recognised alongside our other 11 official languages. The bill now just awaits the President's signature. Let's speak now to well-known sign language interpreter and activist Andiswa Gebashe, and with her is Ntombi Sukuza. She is deaf. She's also a member and an activist and part of SA Sign Language. She's going to be joining the conversation. Andy's going to interpret for her. Ladies, thank you very much to both of you for coming in. And Ntombi, I'm going to start with you. What does this decision to make South Africa, to make sign language the 12th official language, what does it mean to the deaf community of South Africa?
It is a huge deal. It is very important, huge impact. For so many years, we've been fighting for this day, for it to be an official language with no success. And finally, we got it. It's such an amazing victory. You know, they voted in Parliament, and we are truly, truly overjoyed. It's going to open so many things and accessibility and opportunities for the deaf community and for South African Sign Languages. And more doors are going to be open for us.
It's absolutely wonderful for that recognition of the deaf community. What does it mean practically? Because essentially this bill, when it's signed by the President, is going to put sign language on the same level as our other official languages, which certainly means, I would imagine, that in our courts, in our schools, in our official communications from various government departments, there's going to be need provision made for sign language. How soon is that practically going to be possible, do you think?
It should be. As we speak, it should be. But we are in South Africa. Accessibility is important. For example, as a deaf person, you go to the hospital, there is no accessibility simply because nobody can speak the language and you are neglected. This is our language. We are so proud and we just want it to be given the same level of standard as the spoken languages, since it is an official languages. For deaf people, we are proud, we are happy. We finally feel that we are respected and we can have an identity in terms of being part of this country and the language being recognized. So, and more people are going to learn sign language, including in schools. So we really welcome this bill being passed.
Yeah, it's got to happen very, very quickly. South African Sign Language is acknowledged and understood no matter what language you speak. Am I correct?
Yes. It's a language that stands on its own.
But it is recognized whether you only speak Afrikaans or English, or if you speak Sotho, you'd still understand that sign language. So in a way, it binds the languages, doesn't it?
Yes, that is the beauty. So if I'm signing, every deaf person can understand, whether they do not know isiZulu, isiXhosa, or any other language, because there is no isiZulu, isiXhosa, South African Sign Language. South African Sign Language stands on its own, you know, so that is the beauty that everybody is able to understand.
But it's not, would it be recognized if you spoke French, or if you spoke Portuguese, or Swahili? If a deaf, would you? No. Or are there similarities?
I mean, there are systems called RS, but it's very different. In France, they will use their sign language. In other countries, they would use their sign language. It's not the same as South African Sign Language. However, the structure is the same. It is similar. If I meet a deaf person who's from outside of South Africa, I am able to understand within time because the structure linguistically is the same.
Okay, fantastic. Ntombi, thank you so much for that. Andy, I have a question for you. Now, Andy and I used to work a lot together when I was reading news on ETV. She would often interpret the bulletins for me. And Andy, you, along with other sign language interpreters, certainly were put on the map even more than before during the President's family gatherings, during the COVID times. And of course, when the Cooperative Governance Minister had to speak about not passing cigarettes and other types of smoked goods around, There was a hilarious moment, and I'm actually just going to play it for our viewers, and then we can chat a bit more.
Who's all who do tobacco and make I don't know what you call it, like a zol in Boza. Yes. Sometimes when there's zol, I'll read at some stage what one person said about that zol. Because he says when people zol, they put saliva on the paper and then zol. And then they share that zol.
Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. I don't think we'll ever forget that moment. In many ways, the expressions and the sign language of that interpreter was so universal. We all knew what she was speaking about. Andy, has sign language as a profession and interpreting as a profession, is it growing in South Africa? And are you expecting it to grow exponentially now with this recognition of it as a 12th official language?
I'm going to answer for her because she's interpreting. Yes, it is growing. We see more of interpreters and more quality interpreters as well, and more people wanting to learn the language so that information can be accessible.
Absolutely marvellous. Congratulations. It is a wonderful, wonderful day for the deaf community of South Africa. And thank you for joining us in studio. That was Andiswa Gebashe and also Ntombi Sukuza from South African Sign Language.